All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh,
Yahweh, Bahashem,
Bahashem, Yahweh Shai,
Yahushai,
Bahashem,
Bahashem,
Rakak Wadash.
Rakakadash.
Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and whom we will. And peace and salutations to the Akim and the hopefully elect that's pushing this truth in sincerity and honesty. It's the brother Shemayim.
Brother Anaya Badia.
And we just, came together, through the spirit, all right, to put out a lesson. We were just having a spiritual conversation, and it led to us, wanting to get into a lesson. So, the title of the lesson is we have to go to the Lord for more work, all right, because the duty of us as being Israelites, is to serve Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and fear the Lord and to do His commandments. Could Jay get that, Baba Kashad? It's in Ecclesiastes.
Yes,
Salakia is the spirit.
12. This is Ecclesiastes 12:13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep His commandments. For this is the whole duty of man.
It says, for this is the whole duty of man. All right? And the way we keep His commandments is to do what He says. And one of the main things, all right, in the times that we're living in right now, we're living in the end times, all right, where the Lord told us to set our face against Mount Seir, all right, told us to prophesy, told us to occupy while He come, all right. All right, the thing we're supposed to be feeding the sheep also, all right. And we put up these videos, and sometimes brothers might not have an idea, all right, of what a lesson to do, all right. Well, going back to the title of the lesson, it says we have to go to the Lord for more work, all right. And that means we have to go to the Lord. We have to pray, all right, and do whatever we need to do in order to please the Lord and to ask Him to set us in our right path, all right, to give us more ideas, all right, because everything that we get, all right, comes from the Heavenly Father, point blank, period. Could Jake get that in John?
Like we was talking about, like the Most High, He's not gonna be mad at that. He's gonna be pleased with that. Oh, what? He just finished some work. He wants some more work. Like, He's gonna be pleased with that. There's St. John 3:27. John answered and said, "A man can receive nothing except to be given from him from heaven."
So a man cannot receive nothing, at least it's given to him from heaven. All right, so we have to go to to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and ask Him to give us a more diligent spirit, more fervent spirit. Or sometimes Jake just need more idea for a lesson,
Because I said if we want to do more work, put out more work, we gotta ask the Most High, because this is His words, It's His. He controls our thinking.
Yep. The Lord, He controls. He gives us, our everyday thought. I know you had a precept going into how man's goings are of the Lord.
I actually got another one that's similar to it. It's Proverbs 16 and 9. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps.
Whoo! That's beautiful. You want to expound on that one?
So a man, we might say, okay, I want to do this lesson or what, but then the Most High, could give you all these different precepts, like, now I want you to put this out instead, to feed the flock. It's just like we were talking, all of a sudden the Spirit led to all these different precepts,
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't come from us. It came from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai.
Exactly. So we have to be in that spirit of constantly seeking, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All right, because if he sees that we're diligently putting towards that spiritual, physical effort, to get closer to him, all right, then he's going to increase us. All right, but it's our job, to get closer to him, to show Yahweh Shem Yahushai that we're serious about this.
I just got some to spirit. You see, speaking on getting closer to him. You see, where is this? Okay, this is James 4:8. Draw nigh to the Most High, and He will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. And also, just like Fro was going into, we draw nigh to the Most High, He'll draw nigh to us, And that's what we're talking about with the whole work thing. Like you might finish some work, I said you want to do more work. We understand that it's not of us, so we draw nigh to the Most High. We call unto Him, and then He'll be pleased with that, and He'll lead us, to what the next work, is to be.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's on point. Through spirit. We have to draw nigh into the Lord, and sometimes Jake get kind of distracted, and Jake get too comfortable sometimes, and you can't be always in that spirit. You have to come back and seek the Lord, and ask that He give you, that the mind to have a more balanced, a lifestyle in this truth. And sometimes you gotta force yourself, so the best way to do that is afflicting your spirit and humbling yourself.
Wow, that's the spirit. The next verse, it says, James 4:9, be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to heaviness.
Wow, that's the spirit right there. Yeah, man, that's. Can you read that again, Baba Kashaw?
God, there's James 4:9. Be afflicted and mourn and weep. Yep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to heaviness.
Yep. And what do you do? All right, when you find yourself in that lackadaisical type spirit, all right, you got to get up out of that spirit. And if you can't do it by way of reading, or getting into a lesson and shaking that spirit off, or if you can't get it off by prayer, well, then you have to go to that next step, the next tool, which is fasting and prayer, And that's how you get into that, that's how you humble yourself. You turn your laughter into sorrow. Or could Jake read that again one more time, Baba Kashaw? Salaki.
No, it's all good. It's James 4:9. Be afflicted and mourn.
Yep, and that's how you afflict yourself, and that's how you're mourning. All right, because you're showing Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you want to get closer to Him. All right, you showing the Most High that you want more work, that you want to be more fruitful in this truth.
Just saying, fasting is another way of making your body a living sacrifice.
That's a spirit.
Especially in this place,
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Jake might get too comfortable. You driving around, you got all these different food places everywhere, on every single corner,
Yeah, that's all temptation right there. Shoot, because this world is all about pleasing your flesh, So you gotta get your flesh and your members in check. Could Jake get Psalms 51? No, actually, before you get that one, did you have a precept?
Oh no, Jake was looking for something, but I can't exactly find it.
Oh, could Jake get Ezekiel 9?
Come. Start at 4?
Yeah.
Is Ezekiel 9:4. And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry.
So I could cut you off, but when you go into that word mark, it means thuwa in the Hebrew, and that word thuwa goes into the word, exempt from judgment. That's the meaning of thuwa, exempt from judgment. All right, so you have to be sighing and crying. Could you continue?
God. Mm-hmm. The foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
For all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Because brothers, we got the camp feed on the thread. There's all kind of wickedness going on in the world. Man. Esau, he's fully being exposed right now, And then the things that, Esau, the so-called white man, is being exposed for, that stuff actually vexes your spirit, man. Seeing the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Just seeing the state of our people, and that this truth, it gives you that heaviness of heart. And those that be crying out for deliverance, that don't, like how Lot was sore vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. I'm roughly paraphrasing, but we got to be vexed, with the filthy conversation of this place. Elder bros go into that conversation, it also goes into deed and actions. So the actions of America, Babylon the Great, is wicked, man. All right, we don't want to, us of the hopeful elect, we don't want to be in this place, man. All right, but this, at the same time, this place got different traps and snares that want to get you comfortable. All right, that want to put spirits on you. All right, and then sometimes that gets overwhelming. You gotta separate yourself. You gotta come up out of that flesh, so you can be walking more in the spirit. You come into the Lord, and then you asking them, to be more fruitful, And that broken and contrite spirit, the Lord, he doesn't resist that. So that's the best spirit to be in when you come to the Lord.
Shall I continue on the Ezekiel
or? Yeah, go ahead.
Spirit. And to the others he said in mine hearing, Go ye after him through the city and smite.
Yep. Go ahead.
Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark. And begin at my sanctuary. So, what's coming up next is Jacob's trouble. So that means that's the judgment. The Lord is about to begin at his sanctuary, which is the nation of Israel. And we know that 2/3 of Israel, is written that 2/3 of Israel are going to be disobedient, that are not going to be sighing and crying. They're going to be in the world. It was written that this judgment has to befall. Slay utterly old and young. Why? Because they wasn't crying out for the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. But the elect, are crying out unto the Lord, and we have to continue to cry out, So I want to get Psalms 51 about the broken and contrite spirit. And then, after that, Jake can get that account in the book of Matthews. There's Psalms 51:17. The sacrifices of the Most High are a broken spirit.
So the sacrifices of the Most High is a broken and contrite spirit. Did Jake want to expound on that?
Yeah, just always just talking about the one of the sacrifices. That's could be the fasting. We afflict and mourn our spirits with the fasting. that's a huge sacrifice, you know, showing the Most High, you know, that you're serious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I said with all these temptations, you know, he sees you trying to fight that off, you know, and you're afflicting yourself. That's real. He says real pleasing, man. Real pleasing sacrifice.
God. Yeah, definitely, man. And the Lord, He's willing to, you know, deal with you. And you know the burden of doing His work is the scriptures say, hate not laborious work. So the Most High, He will give you more work, and also He will strengthen you that you can do more work. You know, most importantly, you know, it's about being the Lord increasing your you know, you in the spirit. You're able to take on more tasks and take on more responsibility, which means that you're actually growing. You know, so it's important, you know, to come to the Lord in that way, so that He come to the Lord for more work. You know, how do you come to the Lord? You know, see, the spirit's like the wind.
God.
Now, can we get that account in Matthew's, Baba Kashaw? Unless you had some precepts you can pull out too.
Which account was that?
Oh yeah, it was going into how you know, because the prophecy, it was actually a prophecy that the Lord's servants will be fasting in the end times, which we're living in the end times now. You know, Yahushua, he actually you know, prophesied. He said about the bridegroom.
God.
Let me see if I could find that account real quick through Spirit. Let me see. I know it's in the book of Matthews.
Yeah. Damn.
Salaki Akim. Oh yeah, here it is. It's Matthews 9 and 15. The 9th chapter.
Is Matthews 9 and 15.
And you could start up a little bit. Actually, you could probably go to 14 or 13.
Yeah, it's St. Matthew's 9 and 14. Then came to him the disciples of John, saying, why do we and the Pharisees fast often, but thy disciples fast not?
Come
on, bad.
Oh, I was gonna slack you, but you know, Yahushua, he was with the disciples, you know, and they was eating, you know, and the Yahushua was building them up in the spirit, you know. The Yahushua was building up his disciples, you know. You know, at that time they didn't need to fast, and it's gonna go into it actually. So.
And Yahushua said unto them, can the children of the bride chamber mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them?
Khan. Yeah, Yahushua, the deliverer, or Yahushua, he's the one who the world inwardly called Jesus. All right, Yahushua overcame the flesh. All right, when he was down on the earth, because his mission was do the work of his Father, of Yahweh. Yo, and when he had the disciples with him, he was building up the disciples and teaching them how to walk, you know, in the spirit. And so at that time, you know, they wasn't fasting. Could Jake read that again?
Is St. Matthew's 9 and 15. And Yahushua said unto them, can the children of the bride chamber mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? But the days will come when the bridegroom shall be taken from them, and then shall they fast.
Khan, and that's the times that we're living in now. When Yahushua, I think it even goes more deeper into it.
No man putteth a piece of new cloth unto an old garment.
I think you can stop right there, Salakia. But
yeah, this is it.
But yeah, you know, Yahushua, he went into his Father on the right hand side in the heavens. All right, so Yahushua, he's on his way back currently. He's been gone, all right, for over 2,000 years. And now we're living in the times where he's going to come back to, to redeem the nation of Israel, starting off with the elect. All right, those that are drawing near unto the Most High and crying, sighing and crying. All right, and that's the point right there, that it was prophecy that the men of the Lord will be, fasting in these last days. So I just like to end it off on that one. Did Jake have any more precepts or anything to add on?
That was pretty much it.
Kind. Well, I hope through Spirit Jake hit the point, and that this be edifying unto the elect, and we want to call Halal Yahweh,
or Halal Yahweh,
Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakal Quadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, who will well, and peace and salutations to the Akim and the hopefully elect. Shalom.
Shalom.